Well, we've all been completely thrown for a loop here, right? I mean, I wasn't expecting any of this to happen. At least we got that weird sound effect to stop, but let's continue now. That means the mastermind, Mukuro Ikusaba, isn't dead. Right. If Monokuma's alive, it means the mastermind is still alive, too. So naturally, that body can't belong to her. It must be Kyoko. There is no other possibility. The body is Kyoko's. Kyoko's been murdered? No, it's not possible. Because I don't know anything about her yet. I don't even know who she really is. To have it end like this, I don't believe it. I refuse to believe it.
Quiet.
Whether you believe it or not doesn't matter. The truth is the truth. If you refuse to believe, it's your responsibility to uncover the truth for yourself. Myself? Anyway, we'd better begin. But if we're gonna have a class trial, then that means the killer...
That's right.
Correct. It must be someone participating in our school life. Wait, so you're saying one of us killed Kyoko? Well, that's not precisely what I'm saying, no. Huh? But you just said...
Stop talking.
I don't have time to explain now. There's a veritable mountain of issues I need to confirm. So I'm going to begin my research. I'm going to begin my search, excuse me. If you value your lives, you put everything you have into this. That is how the game works, after all. So now the investigation begins. Whoa, what is this new music? Well, I better start by checking out the Monokuma file. Due to the explosion, the victim's identity is unknown. They were, however, dead before the blast. The victim had been stabbed a single time with a knife, which went completely through the body. They also had been struck in the head with an object about as thick as a metal pipe. The body was covered with other wounds, but these were at least several days old. So even the Monokuma file doesn't tell us who the victim actually was. The unidentified body, could it really be Kyoko? Or... I have no choice. I have to investigate. I have to uncover the truth for myself. No matter what, I have to find out what happened or we're all dead. I need to go back to the scene of the crime. Back to the garden. Wow, it's cool the music changed. Now it's a freaking guitar riff. Okay, time to get started. I need to check anywhere that may be important from one end to the other. I just need to do what I always do. What is that? They look like fragments of something. They're all burnt. I can't really be sure, but I feel like I've seen something like it before. What is a red frame or something? But where? Wait, was it there? I have to double check that later. I don't know. So, a red frame? I have no idea. Well, there's the knife. There's a knife laying on the ground. Is this? It must be the knife that was stuck in the body before it exploded. The force of the explosion must have thrown it over here. The Monokuma file said the knife went all the way through the body from front to back. Does that mean the knife is what caused the fatal injury? Either way, this knife looks really familiar. Is this? Of course it is. That's it. It's the knife that the person was holding. This is getting really weird. There are just too many strange coincidences. Whoever the person in the mask was that attacked me last night, they were holding that knife. And that same knife was used to stab that same masked attacker that we found here. So maybe this masked person got stabbed because when they attacked, I was in kind of a trance. Maybe I reacted by grabbing the knife. And maybe then And if this really is Kyoko, it would mean Kyoko is the one that attacked me. But why the mask? I just don't know. I don't remember anything clearly from last night. No, it can't be. There's no way. Knife at the crime scene has been added to the Truth Bullets section of your handbook. Oh boy. If I check the body more thoroughly, maybe I'll find out for sure if it's Kyoko or not. What about this hand? Look at this. Huh? There's something weird about the body's fingernails. These are fake nails. They're really long. They seem like they get in the way of normal activity. Kyoko didn't have long fake nails. She was always wearing gloves, and you can't wear gloves if you have long fake nails. There's also something on the back of her right hand. A tattoo? It got burned, so I can't make out the whole thing, but it looks like a picture of a dog. I've never seen anything like it before. Huh. What on earth? Okay. The upper half of the body got set on fire in the explosion. It's totally blackened. Also, the top half of the body is wet. Yeah, because you threw water on it. That's because it got set on fire and I threw water on it. Since I only threw water on the part that was on fire, the top half, the bottom half is still dry. In other words, there's nothing strange about the top half being wet. There isn't, right? Okay. The white jacket on the victim, that the victim was wearing, got totally burnt up. There's only one little piece left. Huh. The lower half of the body didn't get wet at all. After the body blew up, the top half got set on fire, so I dumped a bucket of water on it. Which explains why the bottom half isn't wet. There's nothing strange about that, right? So I guess that's it for the body. What else do we got around here? What about the chickens? Are they okay? There's only 4. Yeah, where'd the 5th chicken go?
Yo!
What's going on, Makoto? I'm glad you're here. Listen, do you remember how many chickens there were in here? Of course, there were precisely 5. Yeah, right?
Huh?
Oh, what's wrong? There's only 4 chickens here now. We're 1 short. Huh? Oh! That's so weird. I wonder when it disappeared.
But...
I was down here just before the nighttime last night, and there were definitely 5 chickens then.
What?
What are we gonna do? Going from 5 to 4 is gonna have an impact on the structure of the world.
Conspiracy!
It's like a jigsaw puzzle. If even a single piece disappears, the entire world will remain unfinished. I did my best to ignore Hiro and focus on the problem at hand. Why did one of the chickens disappear? Could it be related to the case? Chicken coop chickens have been added to the truth bullet. That's weird, man. What about this panel? Anything different about it? This is the panel that controls the sprinklers. They said to turn on at 7:30. Oh, hold on. The sprinklers turn on at 7:30 each morning, right? If the body was here before, then the sprinklers should have gotten it wet, which would mean the murder must have taken place after 7:30. Yup. So there you go. Now we know the murder took place after 7:30 a.m. What about this stupid flower? The Monokuma flower, is it really you people? Yeah, it's not related to the case. What about the shed? Check the shed out. Just to be sure, I should take a look at the tool shed. The room is dusty and disorganized. In other words, a pretty stereotypical tool shed. What is that? Is this a tarp? Wait, was there a tarp in here before? I should probably look into that. It could be related to the case. There wasn't a tarp in here before. The top is wet and covered with mud and grime. So maybe the body was in here and it was covered with a tarp, and then they removed the tarp after the sprinklers went off? But the underside is totally clean and completely dry. One side of the tarp is wet and dirty. Something about that bothers me. Huh. Curiouser and curiouser. That's the one thing in here that concerns me. That's it, nothing else. Yeah, everything else is the same. Okay. Now what? Did I talk to everyone again? Good timing, Makoto. I wanted to talk to you. What do you want to talk about?
So, in other words...
I'd like to hear your alibi. Alibi?
In other words...
Correct. I'd love to hear where you were after nighttime began last night. Well, I was sick, so I was asleep all night. But why are you asking about that now? And what's nighttime got to do with it?
Naturally.
Isn't it obvious? This murder took place after nighttime. How can you know that for sure? Because just after nighttime began, I came to the garden. I was going around looking for everyone so I could tell them about Monokuma. Hiro's been spending most of his time in the garden the last few days, so I figured he'd be here. And I could confirm that when I arrived last night, there was no body here.
In other words...
So the murder could only have taken place at some point during nighttime after I left the garden. However, Toko, Hiro, Hina, and I were in the gym together the entire night last night. What? Once I found Hiro in the garden, we immediately went to Toko and Hina's rooms to get them. At that point, we all went to the gym and began dismantling Monokuma. As a precaution, we made sure not to go anywhere alone. We even went to the bathroom in pairs. In other words, all 4 of us have airtight alibis. The only ones who don't have alibis are me and Kyoko.
That's right.
And if the victim really is Kyoko, then I'm the only one without an alibi. Also, when we went to go and get Hina and Toko, we stopped by your room as well.
What?
But you never came to the door, so where precisely were you? I'm telling the truth that I was in my room, but I was dead asleep because I had a fever, so... Well, that's hardly an alibi. I know. So what now? You seem to be quite at a disadvantage here. I'm the only one without an alibi. That's really bad, isn't it? Oh boy. It's 11 o'clock right now. Okay, and?
For serious?
Well, I was just thinking about when we first found the body, when the body was found, huh? I should look back at what I did this morning to help me remember when that was. Monokuma's announcement woke me up at 7 o'clock as usual, and I headed for the dining hall pretty soon. Once I got there, I met up with Hina, and that was right around 7:30. Then I headed for the gym where everyone else was waiting. Next, Toko went to get the pickaxe, and that's when she found the body. What time was it then? She said 9 o'clock. Yeah, remember he asked? That's right, it had to have been around 9.
You know?
Now that you mention it, I think you're right. So I think we can say for sure that the body was found at 9 a.m. Okay, my job's done. That's a pretty small job. Yep. Okay, when the body was found, 9 a.m. So who does that body belong to? Whoever it is, I'm not gonna look. I don't want to faint anymore. Huh. And what about Hina? Listen, Makoto, do you remember how the body looked before it blew up? If I remember right, it was wearing some kind of mask and a big white coat. And there was a knife sticking out of the stomach, and the area around it was stained with blood. Apparently the wound had stopped bleeding, but the blood on the body was still wet. Byakuya said not to touch it to avoid getting all bloody. But for how much blood there was on the body, I didn't see any on the ground around it.
Okay.
Wow, thanks. That was a big help. Now that you explained it, I totally remember how it looked. Well, having to talk about it like that helped me remember, and it got a lot better too. So thank you. The thing that gets me, before we progress on here, just take a look at this picture, okay? It doesn't look like the body is wearing the robe. It looks like that robe is just casually put on top of the body. See that? Doesn't it look like that? Doesn't it look like the robe has been placed on top of the body? Like the body was already dead and then they just put that on top to disguise the identity of the body. I'm not sure though. I think I checked everything I need to in this area, but I'm not done yet. There are other areas I need to check. Specifically the fragment I found. Where was that from? There's somewhere I need to go in order to confirm my suspicions. I still need to find out more about Kyoko. Is that corpse really Kyoko? If that's true... Was that also Kyoko who attacked me last night? If I can find out more about her, maybe I can answer that question. Kyoko was never the kind of person to talk about herself all that much. Maybe if I can get into her room, I'll be able to find out more. And Byakuya has her key.
It's all clear now.
Yep. Here it is.
What?
Just give up.
Ask him for the key. I don't have a choice. I'll have to see if they'll let me borrow the key. Hey, Byakuya. If you do come up with an alibi, I'll be happy to hear it later, at the class trial. No, it's not about that. You have the key to Kyoko's room, right? I was hoping I could borrow it. I'm afraid I can't take that risk. You're the prime suspect after all.
What?
Of course, if I were to go with you, that would be a different story. Then will you go with me? Sorry, I have my own agenda to take care of. Find me again later and we'll see.
Goodbye.
Depending on my mood, I may go with you or I may not. Come back later, huh? Okay, then in the meantime, I should look around somewhere else. Maybe I should check out that one area. I don't know what area they're alluding to, because I don't remember where the red frame is from, so this could be a problem.